All right, guys, we are back for the Wednesday chat. Got some Insolia today. This is a IGT from Sicily. Look at this. Look at this yellow. This looks like piss after you have vitamin B. It's all right. I know you guys were expecting to get some Lillet, but we got to mix it up around here. This is a wine household. All right, guys, got some notes here for you. There's going to be a lot of stuff to cover, obviously, over the coming weeks. But the main stuff I wanted to tackle here today, because a lot has shifted in the last couple of days. I don't know if you guys have been feeling it. First thing I want to address, though, before we go into this, is there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of mixed signals going on here. And there are a lot of people who are talking about, of course, there's a sort of normie narrative. This is COVID. This is serious pandemic. Everyone's going to die from it, or it's going to be around for a while, the more muted versions, which, by the way, I'm not a COVID denier here. Please do not deny COVID. There are really healthy people who are dying from this virus. It is a serious thing. That does not mean you should be afraid of it. And I do not think that the entire picture we have around it is correct. I'm not going to talk about that today. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are talking about people who have been sort of tuned into esoteric stuff, which is saying that this is when the cabal, so to speak, is going to be coming together to kill us all, right? They're going to kill us all now. I'm seeing this a lot. I'm getting real tired of it, man. I'm getting really, really tired of this shit. It's really, people have such an addiction to catastrophe that they can't see a way out of it. It's just like the confirmation bias that they've all been looking for. Reading between the lines, which is what I do, okay? And also, I can feel it. Like, this is not just my mind. In fact, my mind is very, very much in tandem with my gauging of the overall energy in the air. And a lot of you guys are coming out and vouching for this, which I love. Things are getting better. Like, never had so much energy. And man, I got to tell you, I'm with my parents. Like, we're drinking wine every night. Like, I don't do that in New York. I cut back in New York, drinking every night, feeling great in the morning. All right. That only happens when the energy is really good. Energy's not so good. Oh, look, what's that up there? What's that? All right. So let's get to the meat of this. Okay. So, big question: why are celebrities and all these political figures getting COVID? All right, why are celebrities and all of these? Alex, how you doing, man? Sorry, I know you wanted me to wear the white hoodie, but I'm gonna get that from the attic next time. Short notice here. Why are celebrities and public figures getting COVID? Why is it happening? Now, cause think about this for a second. Right now, even if you include China, okay, China has like 1 billion people. But even including China, we're looking at total worldwide confirmed cases. You can argue there's more. Total worldwide confirmed cases, we're looking at around like 60,000, maybe 65,000 total, right? 40,000 or so of which are China. Okay. So 40,000 or so cases in China, 60-something thousand worldwide. And yet, you are seeing Tom Hanks, Idris Elba, who else, right? Tons of celebrities are coming out with this. Tons of political figures are coming out with having this. Someone want to run the numbers on that for me? Does someone want to run out the statistical? How many coincidences are possible until it becomes, yeah, Kevin Durant. Okay, you're saying the worldwide official number is 200K. Cool. I'm going to accept that. I'm not even going to try to challenge that figure. I think it's totally plausible. I mean, it makes sense, honestly. It makes sense. But still, what is the statistical likelihood that these figures are going to come out and get it? People have said, oh, well, they like to travel a lot. They're in more contact with people. Sorry. They travel on private jets. A lot of these people travel on private jets. They're not hanging out with all the masses. And even so, you never see this in pandemics. You never see it. In pandemics, what you see is a bunch of poor people, random regular people getting it, and you also don't see the media talking about it a lot. Now you have major figures who are talking about going into quarantine. Okay, so let's talk about what is going on with that. Now, there's a couple of different theories. You could say that because COVID in, I don't think I don't understand how this is up for debate really much anymore. But COVID's a bioweapon. Okay, it's a bioweapon, a deliberately released bioweapon. But how do you? So is it just part of the agenda to have people get freaked out, and so that you have celebrities who have it and the media can talk more about it, yeah, as pawns to justify the shutdown of an economy? I think it's a good theory. It's totally reasonable, it's totally understandable. But is that all that's going on with it, really? Is that, or is there something else? Could it be a cover for something, why somebody is not able to go out and be in public? Because COVID's serious, but, and you can argue the fear agenda, but to me, it's still not everything that's going on. And I can, and here are some clues. Okay, so let's look at Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, look, sorry, I like love Tom Hanks stuff, love his material, love his movies. Tom Hanks, pretty known, uh pretty known person in like the sort of cabal, sex magic rituals, pedophilia kind of stuff. Pretty known. Ricky Gervais calling him out directly during the Oscars. We know this stuff, okay? Tom Hanks has COVID, and the picture of Tom Hanks, and someone pointed this out on Twitter, it looks like he's in this like really kind of sketchy room, and there's a barcode over the door. Okay, it's a barcode over the door, which is the kind of stuff that you have in government detainment facilities. So we don't know where these celebrities are. All these people, they say, okay, well, we're in quarantine. Oh, we're in quarantine. We're in quarantine, and we can't. Therefore, we can't go and interact with them. Oprah, okay, Oprah. Someone pointed this out. Oprah only talking about promotional stuff. Um, Almost never doing it from her laptop. She says then she got off the phone and then she's putting out on her laptop that she's not in custody, that she's not been arrested. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure if it means that they're arrested or not. I don't actually know that I buy that explanation. I had a thought that perhaps it's a signaling that they're willing to cooperate and that there could be a detainment because that's a way for them to get out. But I don't know that that's true. I don't know that any of this is true, honestly. We're all just speculating here, okay? We're just putting some pieces together. But something's happening. And I'm sorry, if you don't see that something's happening, like, you are just completely blind to stuff that's going on. Yeah, every American's getting $1,000 check. Hey, is Mick going to come through for us finally? Corporate raiders going to man of the people now. Something's going on with these celebrities, with these politicians. It's not a coincidence. And I don't know whether they're detained for under their own, that they said they had COVID in a way to signal that they're willing to talk, or if that they have COVID because they are taken in, and that's the way that we can not arouse suspicion. Because guys, when the info about this drops, and in my estimation, it's going to be around Easter, that we're going to start to get real points of truth about what's happening. Definitely not the full truth yet, but real points of truth about this actual battle, which right now Trump is completely talking between his. I mean, it's getting more and more overt. It's always been there, but now it is fucking overt. Okay? We are at war with a hidden enemy, but we will prevail. That is a double message. The phrasing of these things, you could just say, we're going to beat this virus if you're going to try to fight against a virus. We're at war with a hidden enemy. That is a very weird way to simply address a virus. You ever see Trump? He'll always say like, oh, well, we know who did it, unless you go, no one's to blame for this unless you go back to the source. Right? What's weird stuff to say. What does he mean by that? Okay. Also, maybe some of you guys saw it, but when Trump put out the PSA the other day and it was talking about good hygiene, the two O's in good, the O turns into a Q for like a millisecond. Like it's easy to see if you're looking for it, but if you're not really paying attention, you could just see it as just a shift in the graphics. The point is that this stuff is all being coded and leaked out. Okay, so something that people have asked me, kind of connecting to this celebrity stuff. Okay, well, there's the celebrity coded messages too. So you tell me what kind of stuff is going on that Madonna and Tom Hanks are putting out like typewriters and stuff. They have like typewriters and there's some weird stuff that they're posting. They just post like weird shit on their Instagram. Madonna, some of the stuff that she's been putting out, the letters are replaced with different letters or numbers. I didn't take the time to look at that. I'm sure somebody's going to do that. But there's something that's being communicated here. She said something like rise up. Like rise up with COVID? What is that? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing that's just stuff for you to see out there, that this stuff isn't overt. Like I want you guys to understand that you don't have to like accept any explanation I'm giving, because I'm really just speculating here. I'm thinking, but what I know is that something isn't right. I know that something is not right. I know that there's a coded language going on here. Just because I don't know what the code is, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. And I'm gonna take this to like make a really big point. A lot of you guys, not some of the guys on this exact Periscope, but a lot of people are saying like, where's the proof of this? What do you like? Where can I go to find more about this? Like, I get it to an extent. I get it. And I did link some accounts to help you get started on your journey. But look, guys, this is not the game for people who are lazy thinkers. All right. Do you think that I have had everything that I've learned about this? I've learned because I've been curious. And if I saw somebody was speaking in a certain way, I tried to like get involved with some of the stuff that they were doing and listen to them. And then I'd find that they were talking to someone and then I'd talk to that person. Yeah. Citing sources is for losers, and it's also for people who just can't really think. It's like a lazy thing. It's like, well, I'm not gonna believe you unless you have a source. It's like go fuck off. Like, I remember that one guy was telling me with my dating stuff. It's like, what's the source for this? It's like, I'm the fucking source. I'm thinking. Like, are you thinking? So if you're gonna go down this rabbit hole, understand that you got to be curious. And what I encourage is questions. If you're gonna ask me questions that show me that you're thinking. Don't ask me questions that tell me that like I just want you to tell me everything about this, as if like I could go through. This is going to be a couple weeks of periscopes, me talking about this. You want me to just like send you a message and tell you everything? Like, think and then ask me a specific question that shows me that you're thinking. Don't ask me some like explain question mark. No, don't do that. All right. So the reason you should track resignations. All right. People are asking like, what do these resignations mean? Well, I'm going to tell you actually what the resignations might mean. So from what I've heard about this, if you're trying to think of the deep state or the cabal, oh, I gotta get a sip of wine here. I'm getting fired up, ready to go, right? Fired up, ready. Oh man. All right. So if you are the deep state, and think of the deep state or the cabal, right? Think of it like an octopus, and it's got its tendrils wrapped around pretty much everything to one except or another. Yep, Bill Gates stepping down from the board of Microsoft. Ask yourself why a guy who pioneers viral research and who's always talked about pandemics would step down during the crisis. Maybe it's because he also talked about trying to reduce the world's population. I don't know. Maybe that's connected. Maybe we know some. Maybe someone knows something that we don't know about him. Tracking resignations. Why is this important? Okay, so if you have this, and I think it's instructive to look at it like an octopus. If you have these tentacles that are embedded in organizations around the world, and corporations around the world, Now, and this is the thing, and I've made this mistake too, right? I'm not trying to, but think about it. Think about it. Think logically, okay? Think logically. If your goal is to avoid war and catastrophe, if your goal is to minimize damage, okay? Let's say you have a parasite that's stuck onto your body, right? It's inside of your body. We like what the alleged white hats with Trump, right, are doing is basically surgery, and they have to extricate the most corrupt individuals out. They have to dissect them out of the system, because if you were to just say that, Raytheon, for instance, Raytheon's a great example of a corrupt corporation that's done a lot of sketchy stuff with their military and with their military technology. If you were to just have Raytheon go down, well, what happens? Okay, well, a major American company goes down, and how many middle class Americans, how many Americans have their savings invested in these companies? Okay, so if you are trying to get rid of the rot, you are going to surgically remove it without causing undue economic damage and causing the destruction of a lot of these businesses. And you're going to do that by it's resignations. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens to these individuals, because why are they resigning? What was told to them that made them resign? What choice did they really have in the matter? But it's no coincidence that you're seeing a lot of these big brands, Disney, Victoria's Secret, a lot of companies that have done some really sketchy stuff when it comes to like the sex trafficking, etc., that they are stepping down. Okay, stuff is getting rooted out. Evil is getting rooted out. All right, what else do I got here? I think I got two more things here. Okay, so that's a good. I didn't know that, man. Lord Rothschild stepping down from RIT. That is very big. Now, I had heard that the Rothschilds had surrendered. I had heard that. That's big though, man. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. I mean, that's a sign clear as day right there. If the Rothschilds are stepping down from things, this is not. We're not getting rounded up in the FEMA camps and getting killed. Like, stop with that shit. I'm so sick of these people. They're fucking freaking out all the time. Is it possible that maybe things are getting better? Is that a possibility that things are getting better? Or do we have to panic all the time? Like, whatever. Anyway, did anybody notice on Monday that the Democratic Party label, and by the way, I want to emphasize this, not that I really give a shit about what any of you think, but this is not really it's not a right versus left sort of deal here. This is really about, like, a lot of the people on the left have been really manipulated by the media, and a lot of them have really the heart in the right place. To be honest, a lot of the ones that I've seen, they have literally not. They have a lot of the pieces together. They're just missing the main piece, which is that Trump isn't a bad guy, and that blinds them to the full picture. But a lot of them have really been. I mean, they're on to the corruption. They're on to all this stuff. They agree with us on all the essential things. It's just the Hegelian dialect, right? It's the manipulation against the two, putting the two sides against each other. So as the stuff resolves, it's really important. I just really want to say it's an important PSA. Do not like do not let your ego guide any of your revelations to people, because in the coming weeks and months and over the next year, really, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be really struggling a lot, because a lot of things that they believed are going to be falling apart. And it's important for you to not be like, haha, told you so, idiot, can't believe you voted for that person, can't believe, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, it's very important. Bring love to them, and really bring a lot of empathy, because they want more or less the same things as we do, right? I mean, it's a distraction, as someone just said. Left versus right is a distraction. That all this said, since Trump has taken over the Republican Party, which was as bad, it was its other side of the coin, right? the Democratic Party has been a lot of the bastion with the never Trumpers, right, as being the bastion of the cabal in American politics. Um, Bernie aside, Tulsi Gabbard actually really aside. I mean, Bernie knows what's going on. Bernie's just too weak. He's one of those people you would say is not in the cabal, but he's afraid of the cabal. He's too much of a bitch to fight against it, and rather would take his protection racket than actually do something. Tulsi knows what's happening. Tulsi may eventually be a voice in like the renewed left, right, in the future. But um, but yeah, basically, this is a situation where they are pretty much captured. They're pretty much captured at the moment. And so let me see here. So anyway, that was a big tangent I went on right there. Yeah, he's a loser. He's meant to lose. He is a loser. I mean, that's look, empathy for a lot of the people who support him based on what I know from them and what they care about. But I mean, Bernie's a loser, man. He's a loser. But anyway, what I was trying to get to before I went on that big tangent was that did you guys see on Monday that the Democratic Party label was changed from a donkey to a rat? Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that Google was populating results for the Democratic Party that had their logo as a rat instead of a donkey? Did you guys notice that Google has gone back? Yeah, it's not there anymore, but there's plenty of screenshots and stuff on it. I might post one beneath. Did you see that Google's logo has gone from all of this, let's say, cultural Marxist propaganda bullshit to being the original Google logo? Simple, no frills, clean. And did you notice that if you start to search things about corrupt politicians in the left, if you start to look up stuff like adrenochrome, which I'm not going to go into on this chat, that you actually get uncensored results? Huh. Interesting. What happened to Google on Monday? What happened to Google on Monday? Something happened to Google on Monday. And I don't think it was a coincidence. I'm going to say this. This is very, very speculative. Like, this isn't even me, like, I heard someone else's idea. I didn't even really think about it until right now. Super speculative here. But note that Trump last Friday talking about sorry, I got coronavirus. Talking about how Google was helping with the what is it? Helping with the coronavirus website, right? And then Google denied it, and it turned out there was some sort of subcontractor that was working with the government. I wonder if there was some sort of infiltration. There is definitely something that's going on. That Google is not in control of the same people as it was before. And it could be that something happened to Alice, which is something I can't even really explain, but Alice is basically Alice, all capital letters, is sort of like artificial intelligence based on the internet. It's sort of like I probably shouldn't even mention it. It's a little bit complicated. Let's just say that Alice is like the censorship program of the internet. It's probably an easy way to put it. So, anyway, something happened to Google. What happened to Google? But it's more signs that stuff is happening behind the scenes. Okay, not that we're all dying. Okay, it's sign that good things are happening. It's not the demons revealing themselves, right? It's not that. Okay, they don't want to get revealed that overtly. Now, I got one last thing here to talk about. This one's a little bit. I almost should save it. It's going to be a little bit off topic. But do you guys want to hear it? Do you guys want to hear it, or should I just move on? Save it for another time, maybe. Maybe you guys don't want to hear it right now. You want to hear? I got one yes. Does anybody else? Yes. You want? All right. Just I have to do this. I have to do the marketing stuff. I gotta pump up the energy here. Okay. Does anybody remember? You guys know about the earthquake that happened in Salt Lake City today? Yeah. You guys heard about that earthquake in Salt Lake City? You guys heard about it? Okay, good. surprising for people to have around there. It was nothing too crazy, 5.7, 5.8 magnitude, but pretty but pretty big for the area, right? They're not used to having that. Does anybody remember earlier in like the summer, fall, you had God, what was it called? Man, I drove right past here. China Lake, California. You guys remember that? China Lake, California. Big military base over there, by the way. This is east of the very, very south of the Central Valley. And if you're going to like Death Valley, but you're not going from the Las Vegas side, you're going to go up north and you're going to go around some of these sort of dried out areas. There's a place there called China Lake. A lot of earthquakes happen there. Does anyone remember that? If no one remembers that, you guys remember that happened? So a lot of stuff over the summer with all these series of earthquakes happening in that area. Okay. I'm not going to go into this in depth right now because I'll be honest, a little bit out of my element. But there are secret military bases, mostly run by the CIA and the CABAL, underground, part of which is because the Draco/reptilians like to be underground. Again, this is not my area of expertise, but there are underground military bases. And there's also warfare that you are able to use. Remember with Iran, right? Iran's nuclear weapons program. Do you guys remember that? That they have a nuclear weapons program. They tried to have one, right? And that there was just like over and over again, there's like an earthquake at their nuclear weapons site. Earthquake at their nuclear weapons site. Remember it happened in North Korea too. Killed all of these people in the government. Earthquake here. Very, very, very convenient, isn't it? To have an earthquake take out your enemy's nuclear weapons site. So I can tell you with these earthquakes that are happening in the U.S., happening in China Lake, happening in Salt Lake City, they are involved, okay? How many coincidences, again, how many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible, okay? You always have to think that. This is what people are blind to. They don't like pattern recognition. They're like, well, it could have been anything. It's like, yeah, it could have been, and that could have been anything, and that could have been anything, and that could have been anything, and that could have been anything. So put it together, okay? I know you have to jump off of your safe sources. I know you have to jump off into the unknown here, but trust your intuition. Something was happening, and from what I've heard, now I have not confirmed this, not that I necessarily could confirm it, but that there was a CIA military base around that area in Salt Lake City. And I don't know, whatever, but there are these underground bases, and given the times and what's happening, well, I've heard with the Salt Lake, it did. Well, so here's the thing with Kim, and again, I'm kind of speculating. I've heard a lot of things here, but there were people in Kim's cadre that you notice that a lot of people who were very quote unquote close to Kim, like his uncle and all these different people who we heard these terrible stories about what Kim did to them. But you have to don't just trust everything you hear. A lot of generals and scientists were killed in that earthquake. And to me, it seemed like it was a precision strike. All these people who were close to Kim died all of a sudden. And was it a way that actually freed him from China, basically, and the cabal, effectively? I mean, North Korea, again, not a good country. But I think it's important to understand when a country is not, maybe it's not great in what they're doing, but maybe they're the way they are in part because of the cabal. And a lot of our history, you have to be really deconstructive with our history. You have to really look at everything from a completely different angle, because the way that we look at everything is that, the people who win write the history, right? It's like, oh, Britain were the good guys in all the wars, and they were fighting against all these terrible things, and America always fighting against all these terrible things. And, well, maybe the picture is a little bit more nuanced in some cases. I'll just show you this one tidbit with World War One, for instance. My one of my mentors at UPenn, I got to throw out my Ivy League credentials here, so you guys trust me. I'm not some just sort of loon on the internet. We talked about great power politics. She really was like an amazing mentor. I got to understand international politics. That was actually, by the way, it was because of her I had a interview with the CIA, opportunity with the CIA, which I did not pursue. Oh, guess would you guys know that, right? Maybe this is a one long operation, decade long operation to infiltrate your minds. No, it's pretty common at Ivy League schools. If people who are in international stuff, the CIA does a little recruitment session, see what little fruit they can pluck off the branch. But I remember her. She was going to write a book, and one of the things that she mentioned, she'd gone through the diplomatic cables, and she was like, "Yeah, this is actually." Like what was really interesting, like the British were actually really manipulating the Germans. Like after it happened, like the Germans were trying to like find a resolution so things didn't go into war, and the Britain would send them mixed messages. And suffice to say, she didn't write that book, but it was very interesting to talk to her about it. And keep in mind, guys, this is like a decade ago. I mean, like I was very, very. The only other I can give you another example of things from that time period where things that now make a lot more sense. Same professor. I was doing a national security review of sorts. I was trying to look for critical weaknesses in American infrastructure and military defense preparedness because I was preparing basically for a career in at the time in the State Department or right, considering intelligence, and just maybe why I can spot the patterns. But they one of the things that I had to do is I was looking into rare earth metals. And rare earth metals like neodymium, there's a couple others. These things are really important in transistors for precision weapons, basically. Very, very crucial for your military infrastructure. And America has a pretty good like natural amount of it, as you would expect. It's America. I don't think that we're missing too many natural resources. But it was very surprising that America had shut down all of its mines. The last one only a few years recently in California. And guess who had control over 97% of the world's rare earth metals? Can you guys take a guess? I'm not going to tell you. Can you guys take a guess? Post below what country had control over China? Exactly. China had control. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, I was like a college student. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense at all. Great power rival, China, has access to 97% of the available mineable rare earth metals, and the United States had mines and they shut them down. It was like absolutely bonkers for me. Now I understand because Feinstein's husband was I don't know a major lobbyist for China. It's concealed a bit. And Feinstein shut down the mine in California under the Environmental Protection Act, the State Environmental Protection Act. Made a couple million out of that herself. Definitely, helping to save the environment, right? Helping to save the environment. We always appreciate that from our politicians. Definitely, guys, I just want you to know there's definitely no reason when politicians talk about saving the environment. I mean, they're doing it just for purely ethical reasons. They really, really care about the environment. There's no money in them for it. There's no agenda. Come on, there's no agenda. Anyway, I think that I've given you guys enough information, but with the earthquakes, that is there's something going on with that. Suffice to say, and it's a good thing because this is basically the secret base is getting fucked up. Secret bases are getting fucked up. So I'll take questions just for a little bit because I'm almost out of wine. I'll take some questions. Any questions? What will the timeline be until we all get to normal? Well, define normal. Well, first off, normal is not. I'll get the avian flu after. Normal is the old normal. We're not going back to that. If you are to trust Q, they said done in 30, and 30 would be starting from March 11th to April 10th. Now, when we say done in 30, it depends. What do we mean by done in 30? I didn't have breakfast. So what is going to be done in 30? I think that the massive amount of cleanup is going to be done in accused disinfo. All the stuff I said here is disinfo then. In 2 weeks, the next 2 weeks are going to be the big push, but there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in the next 3 to 4 weeks. But we're not going to be done there. I mean, the entire year is going to be a roller coaster, guys. Entire year is going to be a roller coaster. But I am optimistic that the significant shutdowns going on are going to be resolved by Easter. So, well, look, what happens after Trump gets out of office? I mean, theoretically, we're supposed to have our own democracy. I don't know. Like a real democracy where the cabal isn't manipulating it, so we can actually make healthy decisions for ourselves. Kushner has deep Mossad connections. What is the risk of war with China? Well, it's a good question, Nick. I think it's low. I think that certainly there's a lot of overt potential for it. Like when I say overt potential, what I mean is that there's a lot of war drumming for it, but this stuff is going to be taken care of under the scenes. The Chinese regime is very fragile right now. The Chinese, I mean, guys, it's really fragile right now. I've been seeing stuff coming out of there. The people are pretty pissed off because people have been dying from the Wuhan virus and whatever COVID. It's pretty significant at the moment. The Hong Kong protest before that was 100% the United States doing that. I mean, all the Hong Kong protests, that was the U.S. fomenting that to create instability in China. Not a coincidence they were waving U.S. flags instead of British flags. Not a coincidence. So yeah, someone mentioned avian flu. I mean, look, I put question mark around that because, dude, I had no idea about that. Was a curveball for me. It's probably nothing. Maybe it would have been something, but I mean, the Chinese people. There's nothing wrong with any of the people of the world, guys. There's nothing wrong with any of the people of the world. Okay, we are different. I'm not some sort of blank slatist. That's total bullshit. But they're not bad people. People around the world, we all want fundamentally the same thing. We have our different cultures and our different aspects to ourselves that make us different in how we go about doing things. Societies are very different, and I do believe that we should keep the different unique cultures. Well, unique cultures, right? I mean, the satanic agenda is to make everything the same. Homogenization of everything. I mean, that is the opposite of healthy. So, but the Chinese people, I mean, they're good people. They want a lot of them want freedom, but I mean, they're under a serious situation. And the social credit system in China was designed for the entire world to have, but it's not going to happen, guys. Anyone who's telling you that, look at them and smell the fear on them. You can smell the fear on them. That, or they're trying to profit off of your fear. There's a guy on Twitter who I've spatted with in the past. I don't even know fuck about him, but he's trying to make money off of your fear right now. There's no reason to be afraid. Because the thing is, even if it actually happens, Okay, this is my last question I'm going to answer. So, guys, save it for next time. Any insights on the importance of remaining heart-centered at a time of crisis and change? Heart-centered is going to be a term that a lot of you guys maybe don't quite fully understand. You kind of can hear the gist of it, but it's basically discerning things from your heart versus your mind. It's moving the energy to a different part of your body. It's very important because these shifts, and this is one of the things that the hippies have gotten right, is that we are moving to a different vibrational um, era. Some people talk about it like the age of Aquarius, right? So maybe you guys are not huge on astrology. I mean, I've only recently been open to it because of a guy named Paul on Twitter. Very, very smart guy. Um, we're moving to a different era, though. It's very clear. We're moving to a different era. And the cabal has been basically blocking this shift because everything in the cabal's way of doing things is service to self and going to a higher level is service to others. So a lot of the stuff people are like, well, why isn't it happening? Why haven't they done this? Well, a lot of this, guys, is going to be about you guys out here. There he is, Paul Publisher right there. Make sure you follow him. A lot of the guys here, it's about going out and really, how do I put this? Like, you need to lead with it. You need to lead with it. You need to lead with trying to operate from an it's the cabal that's over top of me. They're watching this cast. They're coming for me. Um, you just gotta lead from a position of really being open and warm. And heart centeredness is important because it gets you to the next level. We have to like demand like the JFK files. Like Trump's not releasing those right now. Part of it's tactical, I'm sure, but part of it's because people have not been demanding it. People have not been demanding the truth yet. They're like, what can you do for me? Help me. Give me this. No, we have to get rid of this paradigm. Because if you want a democracy, you can't be passive. If you want a society that is not based on predation, you can't be prey. And too many people are still in that mindset. They're lazy, lazy thinkers. They're lazy, lazy feelers. You have to really, really care about getting the truth and to care about your fellow man. So, anyway, guys, love you all. We'll talk to you on Saturday. See ya.